This is not about freedom or personal choice.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Joe Biden mandating vaccinations for all federal employees. And there's no, well, you can get tested every week. No, you got to get the shot, period. Unless you have a very limited medical exemption or a religious one. I'm not sure how hard it'd be to prove out of one of those, but for the most part, you got to get the shot, and that's it. There's no real way around it. Unless you just want to quit and do something else. Now, he also says that if you work for a private company with more than 100 employees, you must either get the shot or get tested every week. And I presume the same thing with the medical or religious would apply right there as well. But a lot of companies are saying, you know what, we're not going to comply with this. We're not going to mandate that our employees get the shot or get tested. We're just not going to do it. The mechanism upon which you're going to try to enforce is with a fine. I'm not sure who would levy the fine, where it would come from, but they're saying it's going to be a $14,000 fine for each non-compliant person. $14,000 for private companies. If you work for the federales, then it's just a blanket thing. Now, I did not know that it was legal for said federales to mandate to private companies how they're going to treat their employees. To say what kind of health care basically they got to pay for at that point, or what thing they're going to put inside their body that they think, meaning the federals, is health care. I don't know how this is going to work. There's already been threats of lawsuits. There's already been lawsuits filed. But before I go down into this rabbit hole, let's roll a clip. In this clip, you're going to see and hear Joe Biden announce this thing, and he's going to give you a little piece of his mind. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what he said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
As president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. United Airlines, Disney, Tyson's Food, and even Fox News. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers. My message to unvaccinated Americans is this. What more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin. And your refusal has cost all of us. So please do the right thing.
Now, this whole thing was really crazy. You know, just kind of the elephant in the room for me. I don't know about y'all, probably y'all as well. But I remember throughout the entirety of President Trump's time in office, what did they say? Oh, he's a dictator and he's just trying to be a king and do whatever he wants to do, doesn't care about the law. Well, I mean, I never saw Trump do anything like this and just say, well, you got to go out there and do this and do that with your body. I never saw him do that. They want to talk about abortion, but abortion is not your body. But that's a different story. So I'm going to just stay on topic. The point is, I never saw Trump say a thing that Joe Biden said, talking about our patience is running thin. Oh, is that right? So me as, I suppose, a free citizen, I'm not in the penitentiary. I'm not locked up making big rocks and little rocks. I'm out here just doing my thing. Since I have autonomy over myself and I say I don't want that particular shot, that means that somehow I'm wrong and I'm testing your patience. How about you testing my patience? How about that? If you're trying to convince us that the shot is good and it's safe and it's effective, You're not doing a very good job by trying to strong arm. That's not going to work. It's just not. A lot of people, a lot of black folks, white folks, everybody are suspicious, and for a good reason. There's been a lot of medical trials in the past, and not even like 1,000 years ago. I'm talking about recently in the 90s, 2000s. It's been some serious things that have happened in this country and all over the world that we want to avoid. So let us do that. Why is it such a big rush and the push to get us to get this thing? Why? If the vaccine works, then it works, right? So everyone who has it, he says, what, like 200 million Americans have it. And out of that 200, well, out of the whole population, I think it's like 350 million people. 50 million or more of those are below the age of 12, so they can't get it. So that's 250 right there. Those that had it and those that can't get it. So you're trying to just get everyone to have it through kind of a backdoor method? Why? If you have 200 million with the shot, aren't they safe? Because what did they say? What did guys like Joe Biden say? Oh, well, the unvaccinated are putting the vaccinated in danger. How does that make sense? Tell me how that makes sense. If you vaccinated, then you're safe, right? Right? Or no? Oh, okay. So if you vaccinated, you can still catch it and spread it. It does not stop transmission. The transmission of a vaccinated person is the exact same as an unvaccinated person. So I guess the idea is if you're unvaccinated, you could spread it to a vaccinated person and then they can get sick. But if you can be vaccinated and spread it and still catch it, you see what I'm saying? You could do that. You can be in a room full of vaccinated people and spread it among each other. Didn't that happen with those Democrats who left Texas and went to DC because they didn't want to vote on the Voting Rights Act and something else? Isn't that exactly what happened? So I just don't get it. And then they say, well, you guys are creating the variants. How does anyone know where the variants are coming from? They keep talking about Delta variant, but they got Delta, Lambda, MU, brand new variant, hot off the press like a fresh pair of Jordans. They got all these variants floating around. How does anybody know where the variants are coming from? How do you test for the variant? Have you identified patient zero of each particular variant? If we don't know these things, then how can anyone say that the unvaccinated are the ones who are variant factories? Nobody said, and if I'm wrong about this, please let me know, but nobody from the Federale, CDC, NIH, FDA, nobody said that the vaccine can stop variants. All they say is that it can reduce your hospitalization rate. That's all they say. And that's temporary. That's why they want to do the boosters. Because in Israel, where pretty much everybody's vaccinated, they're having a kind of a pandemic of the vaccinated. The rates are going up, deaths going up. That's why they get to get the boosters, because they're saying it's wearing off like right around the 8-month mark. And they got their shots back in January. So now you got Pfizer coming out who've already been approved for the first 2 shots, not the third one for some reason. But anyway, they said, okay, we need to do 3 shots a year. And there's rumors, there's stories that I'll put in the box of a daily pill coming out. So let me get this straight. You are signing this vaccine mandate for all federal employees and a lot of private people, private companies, private citizens. Is it going to be for just 2 shots, for 3 shots, for perpetual shots, forever, for pills? What is it going to be for? Do we even know? If we know that the efficacy wears off after about 8 months and you're only going to mandate the 2 shots, what's the point? Because you'll be back at square one in 8 months. So why even do it at all? It's the silliest thing. But I feel like this is a way for Big Pharma to turn you into a dope fiend. The same way they did with opioids. You know, they're prescribing these pills, passing them out like candy. You got all these pill mills going on. Big Pharma's raking their money. Doctors raking their money. Everybody's getting paid. Meanwhile, the victims of all this money getting are all the dope fiends that are just roaming around California, all over the US of A. Ohio, West Virginia. I mean, we're going to be dependent on the federal government, dependent on these drug companies for what? Is there no exception for those who have already had the virus, who have been proven to, just by having that status, you're proven to be an effective barrier against the virus because you already got the antibodies? I mean, so if you already got it, you're going to be required to get the shot again. This whole thing is anti-science. They talk about us on the right being anti-science. No, they're anti-science. They're not talking about those who have already had it. They're not talking about the severe side effects. Who's going to be liable? Who's going to pay for that? Oh, but you can't sue them. Oh, okay. But you're going to mandate it still? How about, civil liberties, personal freedom? We're not talking about that anymore. As I've said before, they want to say that Trump is a dictator, Trump is a tyrant, but Joe Biden exemplifies all of what they said Trump was, but he wasn't. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this vaccine mandate? Is it the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at with it. I think this is terrible. This is ridiculous. And a lot of companies are not going to comply. They're going to have that fine out there, $14,000 each for each person that doesn't get the shot or get tested. But it's going to be a legal battle. I think they're going to lose. I think the Supreme Court ultimately will rule against them. Shout out to Trump for giving us these 3 conservative Supreme Court justices. I think it'll lose because you have no jurisdiction there. You can't just control what private companies do. I mean, because at that point you become communist China, where government officials sit on the board of private companies. That's where you go if this is allowed to press forward, where the government dictates everything about your particular company. We don't want that. We don't need that. And I'm prepared to die on that hill. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.